Blessings, everyone. Today I would like to share, this is the Oracle of the Fairies. Because this time of year, there is so much celebrating and joy. I know I just started putting together a new Christmas tree, and we've got all these magical things going on. There's a lot of sentiment. I know it's hard for many during this time of year, but there still is joy in our hearts. And with that, sometimes that magical feeling pulls the Fae energy. And today, there's been a lot of Fae magic in the air. The light is beautiful. My chimes have been going nonstop. It's just such a lovely, very playful energy. And so sharing this oracle feels just perfect for today. So first, I would like to say thank you to Source for allowing me to be the medium of light. And I ask all the beautiful Fae to please help bring a message of joy for our highest good. Thank you. I'm so grateful. So I'm just going to shuffle. The first one is always Source energy. The second is always higher self and spirit. And then the third is for soul. And I'd love to hear if there's anybody that's celebrating any type of festivities this time of year. Again, I'm aware that many maybe cannot be home for the festivities with their loved ones, or perhaps we're missing someone during this time of year that has crossed, and when it's of the fullness of spirit, could be our beloved pet that we're thinking of. And all of these things pull at the heartstrings. And I think that makes it even more important. Even if for just a moment, there's something that makes us smile, or something that just catches our breath. Even if it is very powerful and sentimental, and eventually we're crying because it hits that heart space. That's the little blessings, though. And that's something that the Fae have always reminded me, is that if it didn't affect the heart space, we have to then question ourselves, what is the purpose? If it's a loved one we're missing, or we're a little homesick, or a beloved pet, all of these things, maybe we're having challenges with our family, and these celebrations kind of give a sense of anxiety for some. This is an opportunity for us to sit with that and ask ourselves, what is the sorrow or anxiety bringing? Yes, we miss our loved ones. I have a husband that had, in 2021, crossed over into fullness of spirit. And this January will be 5 years that he's in the fullness of spirit. And it was very difficult in the beginning. It was very difficult. I felt kind of numb. But as time went on, I wasn't afraid when things pulled at the heartstrings to just cry. But I went into the space inside within and reminded myself that the tears weren't just because I'm missing him in the physical. It was turning into gratitude, because that love was one of the few things that gave me that open heart space. And so it's bittersweet in a way that we think of these things, but also there's that beautiful gratitude. If we finish that space, we sit in, after whatever emotions come up for us, if we sit in the space of gratitude, even for the family gatherings that challenge us, because this always encourages us to use what we've learned. We're not on the spiritual journey to not practice all the tools at our disposal now, because we all got to that understanding that there's many different ways of handling things and many different opportunities, and we're always going to be tested on that. We don't sit and meditate or do different types of sound healing, oracle readings, all of these divination tools or spaces within to not practice when the moment arises. And so this is a beautiful message that I've been receiving a lot recently. I just wanted to share before the reading. The Fae are kind of gathering. I could feel that energy. But for our own well-being, our own heart space health, our own mental health, to process, not forget, not ignore, not bury, but process the experience and call on all of these practices that we have been stepping into and learning and exploring and expanding in. That's the most important. It's wonderful to do these things, and it's wonderful to understand these things and have the clarity when it's going well. But what do we do with this when things are being unsettled? So with that, I'm just going to move the cards around. Oh, they're already saying take this one. Abundance. Prepare yourself for incoming abundance. Release any mental blocks you may have. In fairyland and in human land, there's enough abundance for everyone. And they said to wear like a pink magenta today. And so I think that was just a reminder for me. I have like the maroon color on. And I was thinking, what, usually they don't say wear this, but the colors. And they were speaking of the unfoldment, the lotus flowers in there. But the abundance. And it's very, they're laughing. They're saying it's very easy, especially if we have children around us during these celebrations. We thrive on that beautiful energy and the excitement of the children, that same energy the Fae have. But when things are very difficult and we're questioning, are we going to have enough to have a beautiful spread of food on the table during our celebrations? Will we have all the bills in order so that we can afford maybe that plane ticket to go home for the holidays? Maybe we are on our own. Maybe there isn't anyone that we're going to be celebrating with this year physically. But we have an abundance of experiences within us. And those will never go away. I know the first year that Leslie had passed, I called on that. All of those moments, I just surrounded my heart with that. And although it was very difficult, it also reminded me of why it was aching so much, because of the abundant, beautiful memories, the abundant, beautiful moments that we shared. And so, yes, we have a lot of material things going on. We see, we notice, where there's so much for all of us. But one thing we always have is that compassion and that kindness. And I know, since I was young, they're reminding me that old saying, I'm not going to do what they did to me to other people. And so sometimes when we're feeling that way, the abundance that we create, we don't always see the ripples, but there is abundance there. When we're compassionate, even if we hold the door for someone at the long line in the store, if we're at the shopping market, we're creating abundance in that moment because we're choosing a kindness. And it's almost impossible to not to affect someone on some level. And we have to know that. The kindness is as wide and deep as the love that's within us. So when I was feeling sad that year, they're reminding me in my grief, I did a little extra with that kindness. I complimented everybody when they smiled at me, especially because I was aching. Or I made sure that I let people in on the road when they're trying to get over on the highway. The abundance is the kindness. The abundance is the heart. And this one isn't about the material things today, but this is about the never-ending, infinite light that's within us. And once we remember that, it ignites in our eyes. And we make eye contact with each other. And we say good morning, or what a beautiful smile, thank you. That broadens it. It reaches further than we sometimes see the effects of. So during our celebrations or our solitude this year, the Fae are saying, bear with us. Recognize the little things that make us giggle and smile, and then don't keep that to ourselves. Share that a little bit. Watch a funny movie. Watch your favorite funny movie, and then go out somewhere, even if it's a library, and make someone chuckle a little bit if we can. Don't underestimate that. That lifts the energy in tenfold. That's that solitary moment when there's no space between two souls. Two hearts are singing around in joy. And that's the joy that the Fae bring. They're pulling their energy back. Thank you, everyone, for allowing me to bring this simple message. Again, I understand that there's complexities that go along with these things. But don't forget that little child within. Let them come out a little bit. Go back into that child, even if it was a struggle as a child. Go hug the inner child. Do some of that inner child work if we can this season. And enjoy the festivities in the way that you do. And if something affects that heart space, share it. Light someone else up. Because we're all on this journey together. Thank you so much. Many beautiful blessings.